Chapter 11, the Nervous System Integration and Control, Screencast 1. Now, we're actually moving into our major systems. And before we go into a lot more of detail regarding this, what we have now is one of the major control systems, the nervous system. We have two control systems within the body. One is electrical control, so that's going to be the nervous system, and the other is chemical control, and that's going to be the endocrine system. And together, these two systems work together to control pretty much everything within our body. So let's first look at what some of the primary characteristics of the nervous system are. One, there's lots of input coming from lots of different areas all at the same time. That's really important that we understand that. Think about all the input that we have coming into our bodies at any given moment. Very easy to be overwhelmed, but we have the ability to kind of filter and focus on those things that are critical. Now, when we look at integration, so that's going to be our central nervous system. So with all this information coming in, something's got to be done. It's got to be processed. And then also some decision needs to be made regarding the input that has been received. Now, in comparison to the chemical system, the nervous system is very fast acting. So that's really important also. So it receives, integrates, and responds in fraction of seconds. So very, very fast acting. Also, if we look at what's under control here, very specific responses are under the control of the nervous system. Things such as muscle contraction, the secretions of various glands, and also conscious control over movement. Now, if we break things down, we have a central nervous system and a peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is basically made up of two components, the brain and the spinal cord. We want to think of this the integration. Okay? Then we have the peripheral nervous system, and now this is going to be nerves outside of the central nervous system. Now, we've got input, and that's going to be the sensory division, and that's taking information towards the central nervous system. Then I've got my output, that's the motor division, and that's actually taking information away from the central nervous system, and that is subdivided into somatic and autonomic divisions. So let's kind of take a look at this here, okay? So here's sensory. You may hear the term afferent. That's another one that you'll hear. So we're going to have signals from the external environment, signals from skin, tendons, and muscles, and then also signals from internal organs. This is all the different types of sensory input that's going to make its way into the central nervous system. Within the central nervous system, depending upon the information, some decision is going to be made. And now here's our motor or efferent. And so that's another term that you might hear. So I have the somatic division, and that's basically motor and under voluntary control. And then I have the autonomic, and that is specific to organs and other things that are not under voluntary control. And that is also subdivided into a sympathetic and parasympathetic branch. And we'll go into those in quite a bit more detail as we move forward with this chapter. Now, when we talk about neurons, those are the specific cells that are capable of generating electrical signals. And if we look at the different types of neurons that we have sensory neurons. Those are found in the peripheral nervous system, and they receive stimuli neurons and transmit information to the central nervous system. Interneurons, these are found within the central nervous system, so they're limited to that. And then we have motor neurons, and those are the neurons found in the peripheral nervous system that transmit information away. So a couple of things that we kind of want to take a look at here. So here's a interneuron. Okay, we would expect this within the brain and the spinal cord. And then if we look at a sensory neuron, so here's the pathway. Here's information coming into the spinal cord or the brain, okay? And then here we basically have the output. And so here's the dendrites, cell body, axon. This happens to be a myelinated axon. And then what we're going to see probably a little bit later is a chemical synapse where there's a not a physical connection, but a chemical connection via neurotransmitters between the nervous system and skeletal muscle.